In this video, I share 26 lessons from 26 years, which is one of my favorite chapters in my book I wrote, which I'll include some information on below. But this comes really from 26 years now. Well, I don't know when I started studying it, but over the years, I majored in happiness, studied happiness, taught courses on happiness, went and lived as a Zen monk, have worked as a consultant and coach applying a lot of these things. And so really, I think these are the most important lessons I've learned to live a happier life. So I hope you'll enjoy. Number one, when you don't know, give people the most generous explanation possible for their behavior. So someone cuts you off in traffic, they probably just have to pee. Or someone doesn't read your email, it's probably buried in the bottom of their inbox. Number two, exercise isn't about feeling better, it's about getting you back to baseline. So I was listening to an interview with Tal Ben-Shahar, who's one of the leading happiness researchers, incredible guy, and he said, look, if I were a therapist, the first question I would ask people is, are you exercising? Because exercise isn't even necessarily about making you happier. As human beings, we're meant to use our bodies and get exercise every single day. So if you're not exercising, you're not even at baseline levels for mood and energy. So exercising consistently is about just getting you back to baseline in terms of happiness. The mind is for having ideas, not for holding them. It's from David Allen. Most of the stress and frustration and scatteredness, I believe, don't necessarily come just from all the things we have to do, but it's from trying to keep all of it inside the mind. So psychologists estimate that we can really only focus on a maximum of 2 things at any one given time. So to be more effective and enjoy yourself, I would say try to get all these commitments and open loops and all these various things we're trying to manage out of your head and into a written or digital system. Or as Albert Einstein said, paper is used to write things down that we need to remember. The mind is used to think. Number 4, 3 words, 2 meanings. Avoid boring people. That's from James Watson. I'll say it one more time. 3 words, 2 meanings. Avoid boring people. James Watson. Number 5, creative or business projects are like a kitchen remodel. They always take twice as much money and twice as much time as expected. That's Stephen Pressfield. Number 6, knowing isn't doing. To consistently turn knowledge into action is worth at least a 50% increase in IQ. Number 7, stop engaging with any media that makes you feel outraged. Outrage is addictive, and it's not a constructive emotion. On the other side of that content, whatever content it is you're taking in, are thousands of engineers and producers with literally billion-dollar budgets who profit from stealing your attention and making you feel like shit. Don't let other people profit on making you feel upset. Sometimes you're already successful. Time just hasn't caught up yet. So I'll read this quote from James Clear, who's the best-selling author of Atomic Habits. Whether or not something is deemed a failure depends upon when performance is measured. I signed the book deal for Atomic Habits in November of 2015, and it was published in October of 2018. If you were to measure the performance of the book at any point during those 3 years, the project would have been a failure. In January 2016, it was incomplete, a failure. In August of 2017, still unfinished, a failure. In February 2018, again, a failure. But after October 18th, it looked like a success. Same project, different time when the outcome was measured. So this applies to many areas of your life. It could be that you're not failing. You're actually in the middle of succeeding. You might already be a success. Time just hasn't caught up yet. Number 9, love the person who needs it most. My dad told me he once asked his mom which of her 6 kids she loved most, and she said, whoever needs it most right now. I thought that was a pretty damn good lesson for how you think about your friends and family. Number 10, get in front of people and make them an offer. So I was interviewed on a podcast and the host asked me if I had any business advice for, let's say, dreamers, because not just entrepreneurs, but it could be people in their career, it could be creative types, artists, whatever you want to do, athletes. And I said, yeah, 3 things. Number 1, get in front of people and make them an offer. Number 2, get in front of people and make them an offer. Number 3, get in front of people and then make them an offer. So how did I get my first speaking event? I messaged a bunch of Fortune 500 corporate clients and said, hey, I can help your people be happier and perform better. Let's talk. How did I get my mentor and business partner? I emailed a bunch of people who were doing the things I wanted to do and said, hey, I'll work for free. How did I get my first, like B2C, whatever, info product sale, whatever you want to call it, like a happiness program, is I actually got on a podcast because I pitched a bunch of podcasts. And then on the podcast, I told all the listeners, hey, you should come try this thing with me. So running down a dream can be complex or it can be simple. Keep it simple. Get in front of people, make them an offer. They're waiting for you. Get up earlier for no reason, number 11. I don't think it's a coincidence that pretty much every major spiritual and religious tradition emphasizes the importance of early morning. Christianity has prayer then. Muslim cultures, the first prayer is at dawn. In like Zen traditions or Buddhist traditions, usually the first meditation period is like 5:30 in the morning. There's also modern science kind of talking about this. So a study of 840,000 people by researchers at University of Colorado Boulder and the Broad Institute of MIT and Harvard found that sleep schedule significantly influences the risk of depression. And what's interesting is waking up just 1 hour earlier, regardless of what your usual sleep schedule is, seemed to reduce risk of depression by about 23%. So just do it. 12. We think that when everything is right with the world, then I'll feel good. But it's actually the opposite. When I feel good, everything is right with the world. Number 13, be prepared to leave your employer. They are prepared to leave you. Number 14, the world is an energy mirror. This comes from Peter Kaufman in a great speech called Multidisciplinary Thinking. It says, imagine you're standing in front of an elevator, right? The elevator doors open. You can do three things. You can smile and say hello. You can sort of frown and hiss, or you can do nothing. Option number one, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to smile and say hello back. Option number two, what do you think they're going to do back? Sort of, why is this guy like that? And then what we do most of the time is we do nothing. And what do you think they're going to do back? Nothing. It's all an energy mirror, but you have to go first and you're going to get back whatever you put out. Number 15, the highest spiritual practice is self-observation without judgment. That comes from Swami Kripalu. Number 16, just because you felt a certain way in the past doesn't mean you can't feel differently now. Growth comes from changing and improving your perspective. It doesn't make you a hypocrite. 17, don't start from scratch. Find an accelerator to skip steps. So here's what I mean by this pattern. Is Tony Robbins, one of the great motivational speakers, got his start working for Jim Rohn, who was kind of a celebrity at that time. Warren Buffett, great investor, studied under the best investor of that time, Benjamin Graham. The Beatles got their big break opening for Little Richard, who was a huge celebrity at the time. The common pattern that nearly every successful, prolific person is that they had someone who kind of accelerated their journey. In my case, I found a business partner who had been there, done that, and he helped me go from college student to full-time speaker and consultant in about 1.5 years. So success leaves hints. The hardest part of building anything, whether it's a business, a career, a artistic endeavor, a new product, whatever, is going from 0 to 1. So find someone who's already at 2 or 3 or 4, and they'll accelerate you to a 10 and beyond. 18, when you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. 19, beware of looking for goals. Look for a way of life. Decide how you want to live, and then see what you can do to make a living within that way of life. That's Hunter S. Thompson. 20, make your exhale twice as long as your inhale to calm your nervous system. So inhaling longer than you exhale and more dramatically causes an upregulating effect on the nervous system. Exhaling longer than you inhale causes a downregulating or calming effect. So aim for, let's say, 2 to 4 seconds in and 4 to 8 seconds out. I want you to maybe even pause this video and do this for a minute or two, and you'll see how different you feel almost immediately. 21, the answer is money. What's the question? 22, happiness is a practice. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. Henry David Thoreau explained it as, I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. To affect the very quality of the day is the highest of arts. Thomas Berry said a change in worldview will change the worldview. We don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. So think of anything you're good at, right? How'd you get good at it? You studied, you acquired knowledge, and then you applied it or practiced it. And whether it was a sport, a hobby, a skill set, or whatever, you got much better. How could happiness be any different? Study the art of living, make that a way of life. Happiness is a practice. 23, the only way to win an argument is to avoid it. It's Dale Carnegie. 24, why worry? So I'll show this visual. You have a problem. Is there a solution? Yeah. Well, then you're good. So why worry? You have a problem. Is there a solution? No. There's nothing at all you could possibly do. So why worry? 25. Every man has 2 lives, and the second starts when he realizes he has just one. Confucius. 26. Start before you're ready. Don't trick yourself into saying, oh, I have to feel ready, or I just don't feel ready yet to do something. This is the story for so many people. Say, I want to travel the world, but I just wasn't ready. I had to start making a living first. Yeah, I wanted to say I love you, but I didn't know if I was ready. I wanted to quit my job and follow my dream, but I didn't feel like the right time. And then years go by, and they never even fucking started. So just start right now. If you limit yourself to things that you already feel ready to do, then you're either going to do things that you've already done or stuff that's so incredibly easy that anyone can do it. You're never going to feel ready to do something radically new, different, or challenging. How could you? So don't wait. Just start before you're ready. So that's been 26 lessons from 26 years. If you want to check out a video, The Magical Genies at YouTube, suggest that one is best for you from my channel. But for now, that's going to be all. So I hope you enjoyed these lessons. Again, you can check out my book down below. I'll share the most up-to-date details on that. And I'll see you in the next one. This has been your happiness nerd, Jackson Kirchis.